So today, we're going to dig into the anatomy of a really high-stakes corporate pivot. This is the incredible story of Ekso Bionics, a company with truly world-changing technology that found itself right on the edge of a financial cliff.
You know, we've always dreamed about what technology could do for us, about how it could augment our own potential and just push the absolute boundaries of what's possible. It's a really powerful idea, right?
And for some companies, that mission gets really personal. It becomes about restoring something so fundamental, the ability to walk. And that was the absolute core mission of Ekso Bionics.
Okay, let's get right into it. We're talking about Ekso Bionics. This company started way back in 2005, and they quickly became a true pioneer in exoskeleton technology. They were designing these incredible robotic suits with one goal: helping people with paralysis and other conditions walk again.
I mean, their products they're just genuinely life-changing. You've got the Ekso NR, which is used in rehab centers by clinicians. Then there's the whole Ekso Indigo line, one for therapy and training, and another, personal version, designed to give people back their independence in their own homes. This is literally the stuff of science fiction made real.
But here's the thing. Underneath all this incredible world-changing tech, there was a huge problem brewing. So let's look at the numbers, because honestly, they tell a completely different story.
All right, so check this out. In 2024, the company brought in nearly $18 million in revenue. Okay, not bad. But then, just 1 year later, whoa, it drops all the way down to $12.8 million. Let me show you what that actually looks like as a percentage.
That is a 29% drop. Think about that. In just one single year, almost a third of their revenue, poof, gone. For a company like this, in a high-growth field, that's not just a red flag, that's a blaring siren. And this wasn't just a bad year, you know? This was a pattern. If you step back and look at the big picture, it gets even worse. Since the company was founded, Ekso had racked up a deficit of over $262 million. That's $250 million. They were just consistently bleeding cash.
And hey, don't just take my word for it. This is a quote straight from their own legal filings with the SEC. When a company literally tells the government that there is substantial doubt about its ability to even survive, you know things are bad. I mean, really bad.
So right when it seems like it's all over, a lifeline appears. A huge policy change that, on paper, looked like the answer to all their prayers. But, and there's a big but, it had a massive hidden flaw.
Okay, so here was the big news, the game changer. In April 2024, the government gave them the green light for Medicare to pay for their Ekso Indigo personal device. And the price tag? A whopping $91,000 for every single unit. This was supposed to blow the doors open on a huge new market.
Now, if you're not in the medical world, you might be thinking, what's a reimbursement code? Well, trust me, it's everything. It's basically the secret handshake that lets you get paid by big insurance companies like Medicare. Without these codes, you don't have a business. So getting this approval, it was a monumental win for them.
But here's the catch. Here's that paradox. Actually getting that money, oh man, it was a painfully slow process. First, a doctor has to prescribe it. Then a special supplier has to process the order. Then they submit the claim. And then, and this is the killer part, most of these claims get stuck in this super long, complicated appeals process.
So you see the problem, right? The money was coming eventually, but the company was running out of cash now. All that potential future revenue was just a trickle, and you can't put out a fire with a trickle of water.
With the clock ticking and the bank account shrinking, Ekso's leadership did something nobody saw coming. This wasn't just a small change in direction. This was a complete, radical reinvention of the entire company.
So in February 2026, they announced a merger with a cloud computing business from a company called Applied Digital. And this chart, wow, this chart says it all. Look at the price of survival. The original Ekso shareholders, their ownership gets diluted all the way down to just 3%. 3. The new owners, they get the other 97%.
This deal completely flipped the company's identity on its head. I mean, they went from being this focused medical device and exoskeleton company to this totally new hybrid thing that combines high-performance computing with medtech. It's a pretty wild pivot.
And to make it official, to really hammer home this massive transformation, they even proposed a new name, ChronoScale Corporation. So Ekso Bionics, the name that meant so much in the world of exoskeletons, would basically just disappear.
So where does this leave them? What does the future actually look like for this new company, ChronoScale? Let's break down the final outlook.
Okay, 2026 is the year. It's totally make or break. They've got a new product launch early in the year, but look at that date in the middle, end of Q2. That's the do or die moment. That's when their original cash runway was set to run out if this merger hadn't happened. Suddenly, every single milestone becomes a frantic race against the clock.
And all of this leaves us with one giant question. Is this a brilliant visionary pivot to create the medtech company of the future? Or is it just a desperate last-ditch gamble to keep the lights on? And that really brings us to the bottom line here. The way you even think about this company, how you value it, has to completely change. It's not about the clinical data from exoskeletons anymore. The new yardstick for success is something totally different. Can they actually pull off this merger of high-performance computing and their medical tech? The company that pioneered helping humans walk is now betting its entire future on the power of the cloud. What a story.